no, I hadn't gotten any gift certificates or anything. So yeah. So, which is all good.
All right. Somebody is calling, but just give me a second, okay?
Oh yes, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, which is all good.
All right. Somebody is calling, but just give me.
Hello.
Hello, Karen. We had a little feedback there. I heard myself twice.
That was the YouTube streaming.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I have to get
Very
it
good.
going, but then it kind of does its feedback until you can log it off again. So
Okay, perfect.
got lots of sun behind me.
Yes, well, it's certainly a sunny day, that's for sure. Yes. I didn't do my normal walk today. A little bit too hot for that.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. Hello, Rhiannon. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Busy, but you know what the end of June is.
Yes.
And there's no more pandemic. It's kind of a bit of a shock. Like, oh my God, it's open. They're doing this now. Not that it was easy the last 2 years, but let me tell you, it does change the momentum of where you have to be and what you have to do.
Yes, exactly. Are you still working part-time or have you totally retired?
Okay, no. The hospital is like every sector in the world. I mean, you can talk about Brock, you can talk about any restaurant you go to or anything. There aren't employees, especially employees that are, I'm clerical. So, I mean, I think we have a shortage of nurses and PSWs and stuff, but they seem to manage the clinics and things better. But I have to tell you, we are a frontline service that is definitely needed. And a lot of people just don't think they're going to just maybe do that for 25 bucks an hour. I don't know.
Well, and that's what they said at the airport. The fact that they would, cancel the mandatory, testing and that sort of thing. It's not going to make any difference because they don't have enough staff.
Well, that's and I think it's a global problem about staffing, and people are making choices about who wants to work. So yes, the answer to that is when I'm available though, I seem to be called every day. But they're not even calling me anymore. If I don't put not available on the schedule, we have a system, it's called a Chrono system. I'm booked right in solid. Like I have to be really quick if I know something's coming up. Because I am booked like crazy. It's like, well, you can do it. And plus they don't have to train me. I'm like an asset time,
Well, you were an asset before you retired, so you're still an asset.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I'm even more now. I'm looking really good. Sometimes half the battle's showing up.
Yeah. So we have 4 people. Karen, do we have quorum?
Not yet.
No.
Hello, Gloria. How are you?
Very good. Thanks. How are you?
Good.
What is their quorum? 4? Is there quorum? 4?
I think 4 is quorum.
I think 4 is quorum.
We are only 7
4.
to begin with,
Yes,
right?
you're right.
That's right.
Sorry about that.
Good.
Yeah.
Do we
So
have
we've got
7?
quorum?
Wait, do we have 7
Yeah.
voting members? How many voting members?
Well, we have Nick and Carmen.
And
We have actually 6 members. We have Mike and Dean added to ourselves. We only have 6 members.
So
because Carmen's not a voting member.
That's right.
Right. And what about Nick though?
4. 4 is quorum.
Nick is not.
Nick is no longer on the committee. He resigned. Okay. Yes. Back in, I don't know.
Yeah, I did. A while ago. But I guess I might have missed that time then.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, you have.
Let's call the meeting together then. All right. So thank you everyone for joining. The time is 6:02 that we're calling the meeting to order. And we'll start with the adoption of the agenda, that the Thorold Active Transportation Committee adopt the agenda as presented for today's meeting. Moved by? There we go. Look at those 2 hands go. Okay, Beate and Rhiannon, thank you very much. And Adoption of minutes, that the minutes from the May 11th, 2022 meeting be approved, moved by and seconded. I need two hands. Okay, thank you very much. Gloria, you moved it. Thank you, Rhiannon, for seconding it. Okay. Okay. Now, declarations of pecuniary interest. Seeing none. Okay, very good. As we move along. There was no correspondence. So we are now into committee business. I'll give you an update, first of all, on the grade 6 bike education and safety program. We have all the schools in DSBN with the exception of Ontario Street. It did not join in. And that was more as of Monday. They did not schedule a time for the group to go there. I visited Richmond Street. They have 2 dates because, as you know, they're doing their 5s and 6s. We're only supporting the 6s. Healthy Heart is supporting the 5s, is my understanding. But in any case, they're having their 5s participate, but not through our community grant. So I visited in the afternoon of the morning group, and there was apparently about 25 children in the morning group. Only 6 were without bikes, which is good news. That means that most children had a bike that they could bring. And as you know, Healthy Heart brought 8 scooters so that every child had a vehicle in order to use. In the afternoon, there was about 18 students participating, and all but 3 had their own bikes. So again, a good healthy amount of children had bikes. I wasn't able to attend, let me just look here. My schedule's been a little busy myself. So on Tuesday, Westmount had theirs, which I wasn't able to see. I couldn't see Prince of Wales today, but I will go back to Richmond tomorrow, probably morning, and see how it's going there. And I'll be at Monsignor Clancy on the 17th, Friday, to see theirs. And some good news, I sent some voicemails to a few people, including Karen, at City Hall, suggesting this would be a good opportunity for a media release. And as Karen will provide more information later, but Megan McRae contacted me yesterday. Where was I going? Oh, I was going to play golf. So it was yesterday around 1 o'clock. So she is the new communications officer for the city of Thorold. I called her back at 4 o'clock after, by the way, fairly decent game of golf, but it was incredibly hot. And we had a nice conversation. I also directed her between to get a hold of Karen Stern at Art Niagara and to get more information from her. I'm going to take a picture or 2 at Monsignor Clancy on Friday, and it will be then put in a media release, which will go out also Friday morning by Megan. So I think that's great. Thank you to everybody who sent my message off to Megan, and it will give a nice media release for the city of Thorold, for the Thorold City Council for their support, community grants, and for our Thorold Active Transportation Advisory Committee for putting this opportunity forward for the grade 6 students. So that, I think, is all good news. Yeah. The next item, do anybody have any questions? Nope. Okay. The next one is the virtual bike decoration Canada Day update. So Karen, do you want to speak first, or do you want me to speak first?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to simply say that thanks to Karen, I became aware late last week that the Thorold Credit Union still wanted to continue to do it. I know we became aware that we were told that they were no longer going to provide this opportunity, but that was 2 years ago. And so they wanted to continue to do it. They heard that we were doing some sort of a virtual thing. So I reached out to Tim Whalen at his place of work, Thorold Credit Union, And he told me that they want to continue the 14-year tradition of offering this event. And therefore, I, on our behalf, graciously backed off and wish them every success with their bike decoration, how it takes place. So, we're not doing a virtual bike decoration. The next one is the 1 meter rule. So this was brought to me 2 weeks ago, maybe now. I went into Front Row Sports to look for items as prizes, so I could get gift certificates. And Mike Parnell, who works in the bike area, wanted me to be aware of the fact that he has some concerns about buses not following the 1 meter rule. He did not indicate any buses not doing it within the city of Thorold. He did mention 2 near misses of him by a bus, but not within the city of Thorold. But I thought it was a good thing just for us to remember. And thank you, by the way, Karen, for putting out that social media little one about the 1 meter rule. That was awesome.
So I'm not sure if it actually got posted yet. I sent it to because the posting. So she had some questions about what it was, and then we're talking more about the other part. That's how it kind of connected you with her and whatever. So about like branding it to the like Thorold branding, right?
Right.
And she's working on coming up with the branding templates. So I don't think it's actually been posted yet.
Okay. But it was,
saw it today, but
you know what? It was, as was said, absolutely awesome. It was very good. So anyway, I'm going to come back to this 1 meter rule thing a little bit later on. I took the information from Mike. I did communicate with 2 members of our committee with regard to his concern. Then I went back the next day just to tell him that we had followed up, we were listening, and I just thought it was good to actually bring it to this committee, because we do speak about cars and, you know, the 1 meter rule, but his concern was buses, and how close they come to him when passing him when he's biking, and he's an avid biker. So I'm going to swing around back to this a little bit later on, and you'll see why. The next item is the Regional Active Transportation updates. Beate, is there anything you would like to add?
I skipped a little bit through their informations, and just a little update to the Bridget is back. So the ferry between one side of the canal to the other, and it's daily 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the whole season, which usually goes till October or so. Then maybe also not totally uninteresting is downtown St. Catharines. They have from 3rd of June to October 1st, Friday 4 to 11, Saturday 10 to 11. There is a lot of outdoor going on downtown, St. Paul Street and so on. And it's pedestrian friendly. And I've seen in Thorold itself, Friday evenings are for the cars.
Yes,
and
I
some
saw
shops,
Friday evening too, yeah.
Yes, some shops are open, which is wonderful. So this might be a good idea to bring to the attention of everybody. But there are a lot of people there, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so and there's something which is, of course, already known to all of us. A new WHO publication points out that cycling and walking helps reduce inactivity and air pollution, but then we knew this already.
Right.
So here we go. Okay.
There we go. Thank you very much for that input. Much appreciated. And Rhiannon, is there something you would like to mention with regard to social media?
Well, I think Karen has taken that role on very well, and I have to just say that I appreciate her. And honestly, we will, but now that we have a communication person, Karen, you just tell us what the branding is and what we need to, like, I don't want to just send stuff that's just, you know, arbitrary, or if anybody is also welcome, and we'll just do it all through Mary Claire as the chair, and just so it's sent appropriately. But I mean, there is a lot going on in the media right now, and there's a lot, as you say, with that 1 meter rule and how we've lost cyclists and stuff. So I think that is important for biking and pedestrians, especially in the summer. People, I drive up and down the hospital on DQ continually, and there and back, and with the nicer weather, there's droves of people just walking, and 2 and 3 across, like, and it is, everybody has to just slow down, or I'm not discouraging people from hiking along there or doing what they have to do, but there are no sidewalks. So it is something, there's a sidewalk to a point, but then it stops. So I think we have to have cars and bikes, and it's that message of safety. So Karen, maybe you can email to say what we are allowed to put out, but I think our message throughout this whole summer should be about safety, and all three: pedestrians, cyclists, and cars. If
Truly,
that's okay with everybody else.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I've seen the same thing, and you know what? They're taking advantage of a beautiful area, but the path only goes so far, and after that, they're socializing and whatever along the side of the road. So sometimes you don't quite see them until, particularly if you're coming down, you don't quite see them until you might get to the bend. Yeah. So.
Yeah, or late for work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my
Right.
husband just actually was telling me about an accident with some of the offshore workers on the weekend. That I hadn't heard about this either, but
So 3 migrant workers from Mexico.
Yeah,
they died. One died.
One of them
and
on bikes, right?
Yeah, they were on bikes. So we have lost people, like I said, the 3 migrant workers. I think it's right here. I can tell you a bit more about it. So migrant workers hit, 1 killed in St. Catharines bike collision. It was on 7th Street Louth on Monday night. So a 36-year-old male cyclist was killed, and 2 other cyclists injured as they were struck by a vehicle in West St. Catharines on Monday night. So so it is a concern that we have to make real note of people that are out enjoying the great weather, whether they're cycling, they're walking, or cars, and not to start a feud between all 3, but we need to make sure that everybody's mindful of cyclists and cars.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And people get the right of way, not the car. Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much. There was an item which Mike wanted to bring to the attention, and I looked into it on, Karen, when did I email everybody? I want to say Saturday. So what had happened was Mike's mother was walking on the Canal Path, and as she walked along, there was a car on the Canal Path. So he wondered how this could possibly happen. So I thought, well, I've seen different Seaway vehicles at different times doing work on there. And I know they go in Industrial Road but at certain times to do whatever work they're doing. And so I went to Ormond South and Beaver Dams Road, and the gate is open there. I mean, you'd really have to intentionally want to drive down it in your car and actually make it to the pathway, to be quite honest. But there are signs all along just after the initial part of getting in there, because that used to be the way that the workers would get to Ontario Paper, go across that bridge. And so there's signs that say warning, oncoming construction vehicles. So they're doing work on the pathway, just around where that section is, where the bridge used to go across there. So I did communicate that to Mike, and I communicated it to Karen, and I communicated it, I think, to Sean, just so that he would be aware that the gate was open, and I realized it's the weekend, and possibly, they could have closed it because they're not obviously working at that time, or they weren't when I was on it. But nonetheless, they're doing some sort of construction work. But for someone to go down that road, go across the bridge, go around where obviously the construction vehicles go around, which we as walking people would not be doing, or bicycling, in order to get on the pathway. I mean, it was an intentional effort of someone's part. I mean, they weren't just lost. So anyway, just to be aware, and you know, as anything, I mean, I was on it just briefly, just go for a walk, and you know, there's motorized vehicles and that sort of thing on it. So we all have to be aware of our surroundings when we're using any of these pathways to make sure that we're safe and everyone else is safe too. So is there any comments with regard to Mike's concern? Karen?
So I looked into that as well. So the gate at Ormond and Beaver Dams is where Brennan Construction was bringing their vehicles through, and they
Right.
had put like a lock on that chain. So normally the Seaway has it's not a lock the same way as we would put on it, right? It's this special thing that you can't cut off, but because Brennan were using it, they had like a lock on it, and somebody
Right.
literally cut their lock off.
No way.
Yeah, to get in. So yeah, so somebody had cut their lock off, so that's why it was open. But there are other points, like all the way along, like right down to past ES Vox, where you can actually access the path, like with it. There isn't any gates or anything. But that's, as I said, you know, it is signed that there's not supposed to be any vehicular traffic, like that. You know, I don't know how you police that otherwise, like.
Yeah, and it's and as I said, but you're talking someone actually cut their chain or their lock. I mean, for someone to be down there, it was an intentional effort to do that. So, but you know, that would be the same St. Catharines too. I mean, you can get on the pathway anywhere along that part in St. Catharines too, if you so choose to do it. Fortunately, most people decide to park their car and go biking or riding, go biking or walking. So, well, Karen, did you want to speak with regard to our new communications officer?
So we at the city are very excited that we have our new communications officer, so much so that I think the poor girl is being inundated with people contacting her. So her name is Megan McCrae, and so she was very excited actually as to what we were doing when I sent her the tip to post it, and she called me to find out like what is the background and like how have we been doing it. I said that it was something that we had recently implemented, and we're trying to, you know, ramp up and get out more frequently. But she loved the idea of being able to raise awareness and posting other information other than, you know, very dry things that the city often posts, you know, like about public information meetings and stuff like that, right? So she definitely would like to work with us to come up with something that still has that, you know, we talked before about the flavor of Thorold, so that it'll still look like it's Thorold branded communications, but specific to the committee and what this committee would like to communicate out there. So she'll be talking more to me and probably maybe come to a meeting here, maybe, I don't know, not sure, but definitely she would like to work with us going forward.
Wonderful. Rhiannon.
So then, Karen, I'll send you things like even that tip about DQ. Please be mindful of who's driving, who's walking, who's cycling as the weather's nicer. It's okay to mention those roads, particularly because that is Thorold, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's the bottom of the hill. It turns into First Street, if I'm correct. Like you're at the bottom of the hill and it becomes St. Catharines. Like it's beyond Cataract that it turns into.
No, it's actually right. It's just past Cataract. It's just.
Is it just past Cataract?
Yeah, it's you know that the intersection there, right? Like where it's Cataract. So it's actually just past there.
Okay.
Like the houses past that where the border is.
Yeah, okay. Morningstar Mill's run by St. Catharines.
It is, but it's actually in Thorold.
Oh, it is actually in Thorold. Yeah. Oh, geez.
It's run by St. Catharines, but it is still in the Thorold boundary. Like that's kind of like where our roads are. I don't know, maybe the line kind of goes around off the road, but where the road is, if you were heading St. Catharines direction, the boundary is just past the intersection.
All right, good to know. All right, thank you very much. I just wanted to a few roundtable discussions for myself, and I hope everyone else has some. When I was speaking to Tim Whalen with regard to the bike decoration, he asked if he could come to our meeting, our last meeting on July 13th. He is on the Regional Transportation Committee for the region, and he was asking if he could come to get our input with regard to regional transportation. And I guess it came to me that one thing probably we'd all want to, I would want to suggest to him is the training of the bus drivers, that it be of the highest standard and they all be aware of the 1 meter rule. And no matter which municipality they are now, once it's regional, they'll be traveling throughout the region, and we want to make sure our citizens are safe, and that they would have enough room, I guess, on their buses for bikes to be transported and that sort of thing. So I told him I would communicate tonight. If you felt we could do it a time guest thing, like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, somewhere in there, where he would come on, I guess, at the very beginning of the meeting. Karen, is that how it would go? Before the meeting, once I open the meeting, he would be the first guest?
Yeah, no, we could do it that way. It doesn't really matter. He can come as a guest to the meeting, so.
Right, okay. And then, well, not to keep him, so I figured we'd have him at the very beginning of the meeting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. And then if you're all in agreement, I will email him that he's more than welcome to come on at 6 o'clock on the 13th of July and talk about regional transportation, a timed regional transportation item. And as I said, 5 to 10 minutes max, because we only have an hour and it's our final meeting. Is that, if everyone's in agreement? Yep. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. I will email him. With regard to the bike education program, because of the increase of students, there was a concern we might be a little bit short. And Dean, through his charitable organization, had volunteered a donation to support us. And we had said we didn't really know how this might work. So the communication with Dean has simply been, we're going to have to see at the end of it, after the money has been spent, if we are actually short from the original $1,610, I think it was, that we had put aside for this. The fact that Ontario Street did not participate, that that's $260 right there. That so we should be just fine. But it was wonderful of Dean's group to very quickly respond to an area of concern and off to support with a donation of $300. So that was very, very kind. So, and I think the last thing I just want to mention before anybody else is, what agenda items would you like on for our last meeting? Like, because we were meeting for the last time and we may not all, if we apply to join the committee again, we'd be doing that sometime December, January, and we, have our first, as we did 5 years ago, we'd have our first meeting, or 4 years ago, our first meeting at the end of January. What kind of items would you like on the agenda, I guess is the question. What do you want to discuss? So moving forward, I guess, if we're not on the committee, what would we like the committee to be thinking about moving forward? I'll add one thing. I mean, we've done the grade 6 bike education program now twice. One school put their 5s in there, which kind of puts a little bit of a mix going on there. So I'm wondering if we might consider the bike education 1 year, and the next year maybe looking for money, for bike racks. How many bike racks could we support the community with through community grant money? I don't even know if that's possible, but that's only 2 things that came to my mind. What would you like to put on the agenda?
I would like to discuss, I don't know if this would be for the Thorold committee, but the path to Niagara College from Glenridge after the bridge. Many Thorold residents use it to get to Niagara College. It's not a real path. It's just, on the side of the road. but it just reminds me of like what it was trying to get to Brock before our beautiful path was built. You know, there was that just this trench along the road that the students, mostly students, used to get to Brock. And I noticed there's one to Niagara College as well. And I don't know if there's something that this Thorold committee can do to get a path to Niagara College from the Glenridge Bridge to that campus. Because I know lots of Thorold people use that beaten track.
Like along Glendale?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's entirely in St. Catharines, so.
Yeah, but there are many Thorold students who I know use it. That's
Gloria,
why.
how about a suggestion that then if we do see anything regionally, that as a Thorold active transportation group, we lobby the regional transportation, like what Tim Whalen is, like we can always lobby and put letters in and see to make Niagara safer for everybody. I mean, but that's what we probably could do as a committee if the will of the city of Thorold allows us to do that. We could submit a letter and say we'd like to put this forward to the city of St. Catharines and their active transportation committee, because actually that's been a big thing. I know I follow Lori Little on social media, and she is a city councilor, and she's very big at the active transportation. Like if you follow this woman, she's the one she's got some brilliant ideas. She's very active. So whether we agree or disagree with her, I cannot slight that person for being very active in her community, and especially when it comes to biking and active transportation. So I think that's what we would do, if I'm not wrong, Karen or Mary Claire, if you could. I think we would be the lobbyists to that city or to Niagara for Niagara.
I would think so. Thank you very much. Would you agree? Beate, would that be a way to go? Can that go to the regional active transportation?
I would think so, because that's where all the municipalities are included. And since we cannot really talk to St. Catharines itself, and I think they have trouble even having a good committee these days.
They do.
So this would be the way to go. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So either Tim Whalen or whoever is, who's the representative from us actually?
Well, Tim Whalen is our regional counselor.
Yeah. So of course, yes, yeah. So that would be the person.
So Gloria, when he's at the meeting on the 13th, you could bring it up to him.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Since we have him in the room, very good.
Yeah.
So actually, Gloria has a good point. So for future members or even existing members, maybe we become a very active lobbying group for Niagara because that is still a mandate, or not a mandate, but if it's a wish list or something you'd like to see on the agenda, something that maybe make that in the regional or any specific Niagara community part of if there's anything ongoing, because you're right, one flows into another. So
yes,
we need to make sure it's all safe. It's like talking to the town of Pelham when we were talking to them about things,
So, Beate.
Yeah, and talking of this, when we talk to Pelham, there is still the Rail Spur, right? Where we still need to commit as a city to actually connect the whole thing, or come up with some idea, some money, just peg it, just do something in between to connect the municipalities. Yes.
So keep that conversation going by saying you need to be an active group of lobbying to make sure that transportation is right across Niagara.
Yes.
Absolutely. It is not just the city itself, but the bigger picture. Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, excellent. Okay. No, those are good. Yeah, because as we know, at this point, things are stalled with regard to the discussions, because there has to be an environmental study, which I can't remember what the price tag Sean put on it, but
We
It's
don't
like-
want to know. It's always
we don't want to know, but
30,000 plus.
can't move forward until they do
Yeah,
the
yeah.
environmental study, and then the city of Thorold has to approve, I guess, going for the grant. I'm not sure, but in any case, it has to start with environmental study. So yeah, that definitely was stalled. Gloria, just a quick question. Are they going down, the students from Thorold, are they going down along the canal and then across the bridge? And
Mostly,
then
yeah.
along by GM to get to Niagara College?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and it's so strange that so much development along that street, but not a bike path. It's
Not a back path. No.
And there is space basically on the
Oh,
side
yeah.
of the road.
Yeah.
And we don't need much. We know the thing with the arrows, good enough as long as there's something, right?
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
there's another thing. I mean, my head's spinning now, and we be a committee that introduces ourselves to when we know that there's new development in the area in Thorold, because I think it is a conversation with the city of Thorold and the developers, and maybe we could be part of a suggestion. I mean, we're still working under the city of Thorold, so it would have to be approved, but if we know that, because I can tell you, we've had board meetings lately at the Niagara Catholic, and I'm sure district school board is doing the same thing, that we're a 37 point something % growth in all of Ontario. We're the highest growth. And when we talk about Thorold, guys, we got to talk about what's happening on the 406. So there's a lot of safety things that are happening. All that development's part of us. So when we know that new developers are coming in, or we can ask the city, we see the taglines, we see them being posted in the paper about that this is going to be a new development. Maybe we can have our wish lists or our suggestions about wider roads or like wider sidewalks and a bike lane if possible, places for people to walk safely. Things like that. I mean, that's something that we can consider, just, without stepping on any toes. And I mean, the city would have to approve it anyway, but maybe because the staff and the city councillors have a lot to think about. We can remind them of these things.
Karen?
I think that those are all things too, that they have, like active transportation forms a big part within the transportation master plan. That then the developers also have to go along with, right? And then building in complete streets, any of the new development.
Yes. Yeah. That is in the active the transportation plan, which we had an opportunity to input. I think our first year we inputted into that. But it's always good. I think, like, it comes to my mind, motions. Like, I can see if our last meeting we come up with 4 motions to go to council, because they will go to council. It's our last meeting, and that way we've had our votes. We put in motions that the city of Thorold City Council consider the following whatever. And so if people would like to come to our last meeting with those prepared motions, I think that would be very beneficial. I hope you're in agreement. A good way to have our move forward and to put things in place which we considered important during our time on this committee. So if that's okay.
Yeah, speaking of that, I don't know, I'm worried about the 13th. I have a commitment at the other end of town by 6:30. So, and that's July 13th, unfortunately. So I don't know if everybody's in agreement, or it might help Carmen or Dean or anybody that if we could start a little earlier at 5:30, or I would, or I can't make the meeting, and that's what's unfortunate. I won't be able to make the last meeting, but I want to make sure you have quorum. Not that I can still email any motion or anything I can suggest, but I won't be able to attend the meeting for quorum. I'm just worried about that. It is July.
Yeah.
I have another event I can't miss.
Yeah. I don't think we can change the time of the meeting. It's posted, and that's the way it is, 6 o'clock. But that being said, you're on the other end of Thorold, your meeting is, or the other end of?
No, St. Catharines.
Oh, okay.
In the north
All right.
end.
So so there's, yeah, I was
Yeah,
thinking.
so I can just email, I'll have to send my regrets for the 13th.
Okay, and then if you can email then to Karen, if you could email your motion, we will have it on case to do, okay?
Well,
And-
I'll email it to Mary Claire for you to present, because somebody will have to present the motion.
Oh, okay, all righty. Well, copy Karen, so she's got
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
yeah, okay. And then Gloria, if you could do your motion for a paved bike route, you know, providing safety for students heading down that direction towards Niagara College would be great. And Beate, do you want to do the Thorold Welland Spur, recommending that a environmental study be done in order to move that project forward?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, all right, so we've got 3 motions. 8 people. So anybody thinks of anything else, I think that would be a very productive way of, you know, getting things to the present council from our final meeting. So that's all great. Is there any other information people would like to share at this time? No? Okay. Yes?
Just
Yes, Beate?
something, I still have all the material from the Tata committee at home here. I picked them up in order to use them at some stage, but I'm going to bring them back to the city. So I'm talking about banners and some written material, also a big map about stuff we did in the last 15 years that we put on a map. So I would bring the material back to the city, if that's okay, to be stored. And I label it so everyone knows what it is. Is this okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Good.
So Karen, where should she take it? Any thoughts?
It will probably get stored at 8 Carlton.
Okay.
That's where we're keeping our storage right now, but you could bring it to me, I guess, at the arena. I know I'm working at the arena right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I picked it up at the city, at the normal reception area in the city hall. So I
Yeah,
don't
they won't know what to do with it. So
Okay.
are you close enough to the arena?
Yeah.
So if
We
you
are talking downtown arena, not the new one, or?
no, like the Doherty and the
Doherty.
Kingside arena. Yeah.
Yeah.
Across from the school, across from the high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm in there right now. If you even want to just like call me in advance, I can meet at the front door or whatever, just so it doesn't get lost. That's all.
Yes.
Is there not enough room? I gotta ask, Karen, why are you at the arena?
Our building was approved for renovation.
Oh,
So we jumped and so they moved the entire public works and community services to the arena.
well, good thing we had the arena, I guess.
Yeah, so we're sitting all on top of each other. I don't know if you've driven by there recently, but you can see all
Oh,
our
I am quite to now.
all our trucks and yeah, so it's crazy there right now.
Wow.
And they're doing construction at the arena. So there's
Yeah, I thought so.
yeah, they're putting in a new ice plant, and they're also going to be doing work to the roof in the arena, but it was meant that we wouldn't bump into each other. But in the past week, we've been evacuated 3 times.
Wow.
So yeah, with alarms going off.
All right. Can I do this next week? So not to bug you this week?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do you have your contact numbers? Is it in the email? Might be.
Yeah, it's usually like attached to my signature thing.
Right. I can give it to you right now.
Yeah, I have it here. It's 227-6613 extension
And-
268.
Oh,
Good.
there you go. All right.
It's
See,
in the email.
By the time I reached it, okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. Is there anything else we would like to be adding at this time for our roundtable discussion? I think we've done pretty well, actually. Anything else? Okay, seeing nothing. Then adjournment, that the meeting be adjourned at 6:42 p.m.
Well, and enjoy the rest of your summer. I won't see you guys July 13th.
Oh,
I will
yes,
adjourn,
yes.
So I won't see
Okay.
you. So enjoy your summer. Karen, I hope it's cooler in the arena to work in. And I hope that
I
everybody
freeze in
has
there.
a safe summer. And if you're walking or biking or
Mhm.
driving a car, just be aware of what's around you.
Yes.
And so we actually, none of us will be together until we reapply for this committee, right? And are accepted, right?
After July, yeah.
After July.
Well,
Yeah.
You know what?
So-
If anybody's thinking of going back on the committee and then you want to have a little social come, October, November, or we can always have each other's emails. So
Yes, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's a good idea.
There
Very
we
good
go.
idea. Yeah.
we can regroup before we really regroup.
Actually, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So, the next meeting will be held, which is our last meeting for this council term on July 13th at 6:00 p.m. And Rhiannon, we will miss you, but thank you for your contributions to this Thorold Active Transportation Advisory Committee.
Oh, I might see you on Friday. I'm meeting Dan at 9:30 in the morning. What time?
Oh, and I'm going to be there at 9:30 too.
Oh, well, there you
Okay.
go. Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, I'll see
Okay.
you Friday. Okay.
I'll see you Friday.
We just need
Okay.
to move to adjourn.
We are
Yes.
moving to adjourn.
Who's going to move to adjourn?
There
Okay.
you go.
Rhiannon,
We're in.
thank you so much. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
All right,
you.
bye-bye.
Have a good
Thanks,
evening,
bye.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.